Hi, my name is Joel Binamira. I have a blog called Market Manila. Today, we're going to be doing a Pinakbet in Palayok. The idea is to take the vessel, which is definitely pre-colonial, and they certainly must have been cooking vegetables at that time. We just know that they were probably more foraged vegetables rather than sort of farmed vegetables. So the idea is taking the ingredients they would have had at that time, which is fish bagoong and also obviously the palayok, and then applying it with vegetables that are now available more commonly. For pinakbet, it's actually made very different ways from the north to the south, and I have to say that the north probably has claim to the dish. The vegetable mixture is important. I would say go with the vegetables that are freshest in your local market. But if you want to be really strict about it and you go up north, they have very specific vegetables, which unfortunately you can't get some of those vegetables in the rest of the country. The whole concept behind a pinakbet is a layering of the vegetables from the toughest or the longest cooking at the bottom and then layering them up towards the top of the palayok. This is a pinakbet, which really isn't pre-colonial because a lot of these ingredients came after the colonizers arrived. But the whole concept of how they cook it is very pre-colonial. I was just refrying a second fry for some bagnet we made yesterday. I'm just gonna chop this up and add it to the pinakbet. Take the palayok, add a bit of lard. And add about half a cup of bagnet to the bottom. Native onions. I just put them in whole because they're good to eat whole. Chicharon. Brought some Zubu chicharon along. So if you want to look in there, that's the beginnings of the pinakbet. Tomatoes, some ripe tomatoes at the bottom to give it moisture, color, and that slightly acidic flavor. So next, you're gonna put in squash, which Ilocanos don't put in. They're more likely to put kamote. Squash is more a southern Luzon thing. The eggplant takes some time to cook. So let's put the eggplant in. And then the sitaw as well. Okay, you're gonna ask me for measurements. And the idea is actually to just put whatever you like in as much of it as you like. Today we found some really tiny ampalaya in the Nasugbu market. So I'm adding that. And add some bigger ampalaya. Again, look at the color and already it's sort of very appealing. Take some of this okra. I found some red okra today, which is unusual, and some green okra. Okay, why am I cutting this? Just to show you that the vegetables, you kind of have to make tansya or estimate that they cook at the same pace. And you're thinking right now like, oh my God, where's the flavor gonna come from? You just put a bunch of vegetables in there, and if you don't like vegetables, you're gonna be like, that's the worst thing possible to eat. So the secret ingredient is really fish bagoong, and about a third of a cup of that is the key to your flavor. And a little bit of water just to get it going, like half a cup. Let's add a little bit more bagnet on top. So look at that compared to when you cook a pinakbet at home in a regular pot. It already looks really appealing. If you want it a little saltier, you can put a little bit of salt because sometimes the bagoong isn't enough for that much vegetable. But essentially, that's really it. And I like to look at that and realize what's going to come out is probably going to be pretty good. So when you have a medium to high heat charcoal flame, just take that palayok filled with the pinakbet and put it right on top of that heat and wait for it to come to a boil and count from there about 15 to 20 minutes. So this is just 10 minutes after putting it on the fire, and you notice it's already sort of gone down about an inch. and I'm starting to hear some sizzling on the bottom. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of water because it might burn at the bottom. That'll probably go another 10 or 15 minutes and it should be done then. Now you just have to toss it. And there you go. See? Pinakbet in a palayok, the perfect mix. And you really don't want to toss it too much. And the idea is to have the vegetables still separate and the flavors all meld together. The palayok pakbet that we cooked earlier is something that's a little bit more traditional in the sense of using the palayok and also some of the ingredients just lightly steamed. What you should get is like very tender, distinct vegetables with flavors that are associated with those vegetables. And then the smokiness from the charcoal fire and the richness from the pork and the lard. This actually is probably more what people would say is an acquired taste in its original form. But again, this has evolved from something very basic to something that has been adjusted as the years have gone by. This version of pinakbet actually doesn't have much sauce. It's really more of a bitter kind of dish, a smoky dish, as opposed to sort of a saucy, sweet dish, which became common down in the southern part of Luzon. Again, it's fresh vegetables, the nice cooking vessel, the open fire, and you should have a very, very good and authentic pinakbet.